Well, what's going on, Gideon's Tactical family? Welcome back to another blade review where we're putting two Condor blades head to head from their new X.E.R.O line. And that's zero with an X. Is that X.E.R.O? I've never understood that X.E.R.O spells zero. With the dart and the stinger. So these are both going to be going head to head today in the Blade Boot Camp, and I'm seeing some limitations, some really cool attributes as well. But there are two other models that exist in this X.E.R.O series with different blade profiles, but the same handle materials, style, and steel. We might as well touch on that right out of the gate. This has Sandvik 14C28 and steel. That's very nice to see over many of Condor's older blades that had 1075 steel, and that's great for machetes, but really dulls out too quickly for my taste in compact knives like this. These will be rock welded at 56 to 58. Micarta handle scales with full tang construction, super thin blade stocks at just under 1/8 of an inch thick, and very high saber grinds, almost into full flat grind territory. Now with blade lengths at just about 4.5 inches overall, these are very carryable because they're lightweight. Naked, they're going to be about 5.25 ounces overall, and with their sheaths that we'll look at a little bit later, they're going to come in right around 9 ounces total, which is pretty impressive for this size of tool. And I do want to thank GPKNIVES for hooking me up with these two blades so I could test them out, review them, give you guys my pros and cons so that you can make a wise choice whether or not they're worth putting in your regular rotation and taking on your next adventure. I buy many of my blades throughout the year through GPKNIVES. They have excellent pricing and oftentimes have the blades earlier than many other distributors online. So there'll be links in the description box below over to GPKNIVES where you can check out not only these Condors that I'm testing out today, but also the competitive options and just blades and gear in general. Those will be in the hyperlinks below, and I invite you to go check them out. Now, these are both very thin, compact blades, so you're not gonna be doing a lot of batoning, but I did find something very interesting with the stinger particularly. So just that sweep and the way the blade is shaped, the stinger is not a very good batoner because it wants to slide itself through the wood like this and do like this pulling back motion, making it within like 2-3 strikes. There's no front end to hit, and that's a detractor. So it's just not a very good batoner. This one I would not be really planning on splitting a lot with. Whereas the dart, just the way it's designed, it's a lot easier to go through wood. So kindling is really all you should expect to process with these tools. The stinger. Love that right there, feels so good. I'm happy with that continuous sweep and just the high grind and thin stock. I mean, it's a slicey blade. That's nice. It's easy to do right there. With the dart. So not bad. I can tell that the stinger is a little slicier, so the edge geometry is not super consistent. It's still good. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that fuzz stick. That would easily get me going for a fire. But yeah, the grinding is a little bit thicker on this model than on the stinger. So I just want to see how difficult it would be just to tune up this edge a little bit in the field, just to get it a little bit more with what I would prefer. Ooh, that definitely feels better. I feel like that's a little bit better, so not too hard. On that 14C28N steel, yeah, it's a little bit better. Okay, so not hard to reprofile. A little bit of a better edge. Nice, so that's even a little bit better. And that was just for a minute, just trying to put a little bit of a finer edge on that. And both of these blades are going to have 90-degree spines that launch sparks easily to help you get those fires going. And this is where possible, I love having these thinner blades because the carving is just really easy. It's easy to accomplish, you know, a spear point, a tent peg, a notch. That made quick work of that. Let's see how this dart does. but still being able to do some of the, you know, heavier stuff, that side splitting, because of how thin they were, it just sliced through some of those branches of decent diameter. Nice. That did pretty quick work of it as well. So as a camp knife, I expect it to be able to process food easily, and this definitely can process your fruits, vegetables, and meat. Just because of those high grinds and their thinness, they operate and feel very much like your kitchenware in the processing of your meal. Here we are with the dart. Good thick tip all the way through. So let's just see how that holds up. All right. Okay, so all good there. So this is what's scary on the Stinger, is it almost tapers and then flares out again at the very tip. I'm really concerned I'm going to snap off like an inch here if I do start doing any sort of lateral side to side. So we're about to find out. Peripherally, it does not break. So let's see here. In every other way, this is outperforming its sibling except in batoning. But we're about to see what the strength of that tip is. Wow. All right. Okay, I'm really surprised. So, I mean, it was going down right to that thinness, and I was doing, you know, decent lateral side to side. I mean, if you crank on that thing, it is going to snap. There's no way around it. So, I mean, this is a very, I would put it as a delicate tip that you need to be very conscientious of. But at least from my softwood stabbing and then slight lateral, maybe 10 degrees side to side, each side, 20 degrees total, you know, it seems to be doing okay, but I would not, I repeat, not be prying with this tool. So one thing that's always stuck in my craw with Condor knives is their fit and finish. In years past, I've had grind angles that were all over the place and handle scales that did not line up. I'm pleased to see that they're going in the right direction. It's not perfect, but I would say the handle scale alignment is about 85 to 90% on both, with no lips that I can really feel. Maybe on the other one, the dart, I can maybe feel like one little portion where it could have been sanded down just ever so slightly, but good matching on the handle scales. The grinding is better than what I've seen, but not perfect symmetry on the grind. A little more noticeable here, stops right about here on this side, but it's left just a little bit more all the way up to here on the other. Now, when you look down the blade, you don't see any movement. So by no means perfect, but definitely better than models I've seen in the past coming out of the Condor factory. And the edges themselves are symmetrical. So dimensionally, they both share the exact same profile, 3 bolts, torque screws that hold them into place. Micarta handle scales and the entire line will have just different colors of micarta. It is a polished micarta, so it's pretty slick. You know, when it gets wet, it will give you a little bit of texture, but it definitely is smooth. It's not that coarse micarta feel. Really grabs and really puts a place for your thumb if you really want to choke up to really feel the cut. And I really like that. And it really gets you up close to that edge if necessary, and then back off into that hammer grip, lanyard hole. And then just the way it's cut in, even though it has these kind of deep cutouts, no jimping anywhere on the knife, it's really warm to the touch, feels good in the grip with my large size hands. I can really grip those well. And so regardless if it is more of a stabbing, slashing, piercing, or just general camp task woodscraft, it feels a lot better than a lot of other tools that would be trying to create this, I would argue, cross capability. You could use it in a little bit more of a stabbing, piercing role, but could also use it as a camp knife. It feels very good. You can use it in a reverse grip, and it contours the hand well. And all of your general bushcraft, woodscraft tasks around a campsite ergonomically are going to feel very good, but you still have a lot of lockup and control for harsher, quote-unquote tactical tasks that you may want to do with the tool. All right, let's break down these sheaths. Kydex ambidextrous with nylon PALS webbing compatible setups. So in concept, not bad. It's definitely rough around the edges, mainly just in the very rudimentary Kydex layout. It's pancake design. You got lots of lashing points, but you know, there's no contouring. It's very simple. Looks like something I'd crank out of my garage in like 20 minutes kind of a thing. It seats the knives well. The nylon strapping, you can swap right or left, and then all kinds of lashing points throughout. And then you have a good thumb ramp, pulls it out, easy to use, easy to snap back in, does survive for my last test, the jerk test. So, you know, you could ride this upside down on your backpack strap or something. So all of that is good. It's just in the more the refinements that you kind of notice. And I think for the style of knife, Kydex is a good choice over leather, and the function is absolutely there. It's just the form that is a little lacking. All right, so pricing and competitive options. About $105 is what these are both going for, give or take. And so for $105, they're definitely going in the right direction with Sandvik 14C28N. With the fit and finish definitely being better than what I've seen in the past from them. Kydex, that's a good direction. And overall have a lot of unique styling features that you're just not gonna find in your rudimentary blades. And for me, it really comes down to fit and finish. Though much better than previous Condors, you can find better for about the same price. As an example, you can find Joker knives that are available for around the same cost, around $100, give or take. Sandvik 14C28N steel. You can just tell the grind angles are better. The refinement on how the handle scales fit is a little bit better. Leather sheaths, you know, all that stuff. They're close, but you can tell that there's a difference in the quality made in Spain versus El Salvador. And there's obviously blades like the X.E.R.O, about the same size, high carbon steel, but made in America, lifetime warranty, Kydex sheath, and they're gonna go for roughly about the same cost, 100 to 120 bucks, depends on who, what, when, where, why. And so what helps me with these two tools is the styling. And between the two, if I could only pick one, the Stinger takes the cake. The belly is just insane for every type of camp task, the really cool profile, and just how thin that edge is. And I was prepared for that tip to snap off. And even though it is a very fine tip, just knowing the limitations of the tool, it'll outperform many other tools, even that I showed in competitive options, in its edge geometry in every aspect outside of batoning. And so that's really where I sit with this series from Condor, but I look forward to hearing from you guys. What's your thought on the X.E.R.O, X.E.R.O 0 series from Condor? What are your take? What is your thought? Leave comments below. I always appreciate that. Smash that like button and subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. Throw out content like this every single week. And until next time, guys, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.